I saw the devotee last
Yeah,
night.
yeah, Devotee. Yep, you saw it. Great.
I saw it last night. It's frightening. It I
Good.
thought it really captured this like loss of personality for people who are in cults. Where did this idea come from?
Well, basically, I wrote a feature script during the pandemic. And, I spent time doing that. And after I was done, we had the SAG strike, basically, the SAG and writer's strike. So, I wanted to turn the opening of the movie into a short. So that's kind of what I did. And, the idea really came from, I love horror films. I love the whole idea of cults and how they really take people in and brainwash them. And it's, you think it's maybe a thing of the past, but it's so current. You see things like Dancing with the Devil on Netflix and stuff, and it's like these things it's still around. So I just think it's something that people can universally kind of relate to, and it's intriguing. So
Definitely is intriguing, and there's an element of supernatural, even though there is nothing supernatural to it.
right.
Why include something like that in you know this topic, which you can see in the real world?
Right. Well, because I think because I do want to, I'm leaning into the horror aspect, and there is, you know, I think that that kind of makes for an interesting story, which is what if there were really a supernatural element to one of these cults? What would happen if that were the case? And I thought, oh, well, I'd like to lean into that, and that's kind of where I went with writing it too. So, um, I think this adds a little bit of an extra layer to something that's frightening. So, yeah.
Definitely does. And your cast is fantastic, yeah, especially your young actor. What was the process in getting your cast?
Well, the casting, I worked with my casting director, Herman. Basically, Mackenzie Fergens, who plays the mother, I've known her for like a decade. I cast her in a film many years ago as a producer, and I knew her talent. I knew how wonderful she was, and she's such a big horror fan, and that she could really embrace this role. So she was my first cast. I was like, Mackenzie's got to be in this, and I'm so grateful that she was. Um, the child, Grant Feely, we looked at a lot of kids across the country, and I couldn't find the right kid that I wanted. There were a lot of talented kids, but maybe they were more like, you know, Disney Channel-ish or whatever it was. It's one thing to do like a Target commercial, it's another to be doing a short like this, which is really dark. Um, so after seeing a bunch of auditions, I was just like, oh man, how am I gonna cast this role? So I just started surfing Netflix and looking. I was like, there's got to be a kid out here that can do this, right? And I came across one of the last episodes, I think it is, of Obi-Wan, and I saw Grant playing Luke Skywalker in a really harrowing scene where he's being chased and there's a lot of like heavy dramatic things going on. And I was like, oh, he's really wonderful. So I had my casting director reached out and it just worked out perfectly. Grant fit the bill and he came out to Northern California to play the role. So
One of the incredible things about this is how quickly you get to a very intense part of the movie, the short. I don't want to give anything away, but how much of this were you able to show your young actor? Because I know you have to kind of, protect
right.
from some of this stuff.
Well, Grant read, and his mother, Emily, was also very involved in this. I mean, the whole thing was done very professionally, studio teacher, all that kind of stuff. Basically, Grant came to this as a true professional, and I didn't work with Grant like he was some child either. I mean, he's a professional actor who's worked on big sets and totally understands the craft. So he really knew, what was expected of the character and where the character was going. So, especially towards the end of this movie, it wasn't even so much of like that he couldn't see what was happening. It was just that it actually couldn't be shot in a way where the two actors were physically even present. So it was just like you really, both Mackenzie and Grant had to really bring all of their sense memory and their own skill set to sell this final sequence on their own. So, um, really just being a professional is what it came down to for both of them. Yeah.
And since they couldn't be acting, this last scene, what, as a director, what were you telling them in order to get such terrified reactions from them?
Well, basically it's such a traumatic scene. Like if this were real life, it would be like an absolutely traumatizing thing to go through. And both of them had their own processes of like, really before we got into it, they needed to be by themselves. Mackenzie, even listened to music, got into character. Grant would stand off by himself, like really compose himself to put himself into this moment. But basically it was no more than telling them like this is what you're seeing and it's really awful um and they were able to do it. I don't know. That was really what it came down to, and it was blocked. The blocking of this was really purposeful, and the camera movements and everything, so there was nothing that was kind of left up to like arbitrarily deciding what to do. It was very intentional. So
That's incredible. And bringing this to Hollyshorts, what does that mean to a short like this that you hope to, expand upon in the future?
yeah, well, basically, I'm really excited. It'll be the first time that like a true audience has seen the movie besides like industry people and a few friends and family. So, for them to really see kind of what the potential of this is to be a larger movie is really important. And that's why I wanted to make the short on a level that would be equivalent to what the feature is, not like some teeny micro version of what a feature could be. I wanted it to be on the same level, and that came all the way with whether it was the crew or the location or the casting. I wanted it to all be, the very best. So,
Awesome. Well, congratulations. This short was incredible. I think your cast did a fantastic job. Your cinematography is beautiful. Your sets are beautiful. So, congratulations on this project.
oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.